Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this session on CLAT 2023 application form filling, wherein I'm going to help you understand how to fill the CLAT 2023 application form. I'll be going step by step to help you understand how to answer to each of the questions, how you go ahead and select the domicile. This time, the form is slightly different. So, all the students who appeared for CLAT 2022 and who are reappearing for CLAT 2023, who will be retaking the examination in December, there is a slight change in the form. So, you also need to be quite attentive during the session to understand what the change has been. But for all those students who were anxiously waiting for this, finally the day has come. Today, the forms have been released and the application will be available for next 3 months. Also important to understand is that the exam is scheduled on 18th of December. This is something which we have known for almost a year when the first it was notified in November 2021. But a lot of students are also speculating that probably there would be another attempt of CLAT 2023, probably in the month of May. Please understand, the consortium was very clear when they came out with the notification earlier last year in November 2021 that the exam is being preponed. So it will be conducted only once, and it has been preponed by 5 months, which means CLAT 2023 will be conducted on 18th of December itself and not again in the month of May. So don't take your chances. अगर ये सोच रहे हो कि शायद दोबारा होगा तो दोबारा नहीं होगा, फिर exactly 1 साल के बाद CLAT 2024 conduct किया जाएगा. So don't take that chance. So let's go ahead and look at what are the important steps to be taken while filling the application form. But before I do that, I would also request each one of you, you have good enough time. 3 महीने से ज्यादा का समय है. You have got more than 3 months to apply for CLAT 2023. Don't rush to submit the application. Take your own time. Understand the process. Look at each of the questions out there. Look at the brochures which are given for the respective national law universities. Read them carefully. Understand the domicile criteria as it would apply to most of you. And once you are thorough with all the aspects, then only go and start your application form filling. पहले समझना बहुत जरूरी है. सारे ब्रोशर्स को अच्छे से अंडरस्टैंड करो, क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, किस तरीके से फॉर्म को फिल करना है. सारे इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए हुए हैं, उनको ध्यान से पढ़ो, and then only go ahead and start your process. And you need not complete the form at one go. There is a provision for saving draft on every page. आप आराम से जब तक चाहो फॉर्म फिल कर सकते हो. 3 महीने से ऊपर का समय है, कोई हड़बड़ी दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे. So let us go ahead and understand how you will fill the CLAT 23 application form. क्या प्रोसेस है और क्या क्या चीजों का ध्यान देना है वो समझते हैं इस सेशन में. Before I go and talk about what exactly is to be done in the application form, it is important for you to understand what is the intake. So as of now, there is no change for any of the national law universities. So जो CLAT 2022 का intake है, the same intake applies for CLAT 2023. In fact, right now, if you go on the consortium page, you'll realize the same brochures which were uploaded for CLAT 2022, they have been re-uploaded for CLAT 2023. Even when you go to the application form, the final stage of the application form where the reservations are being asked, you'll see the PDFs which have been uploaded against each of the national law university. They are the same which were available for the 2022 examination, which means as of now, NLUs have not notified if they have done any changes as far as intake is concerned, which means we are talking about close to 3,000 seats on offer for the 22 national law universities. Among this, NLU Jodhpur has no state quota. So other than NLU Jodhpur, every national law university has state domicile quota either in one category or almost every category, but NLU Jodhpur में कोई भी state quota नहीं है. Even Bangalore now has 25% state domicile seats reserved actually. So if you look at, there are a lot of institutions where you also have horizontal reservation available for women candidates, and that is also available in Bangalore. So 18% of the total seats in Bangalore are reserved for female students from across all the categories combined together. That number increases to 30% in case of Nalsar. Kolkata does not have a women horizontal reservation scheme, whereas for Bhopal, for both the normal BLLB as well as BSc Cybersecurity Law, there are seats reserved for female students. NLU Jodhpur does not have any female horizontal reservation available. Next is Gandhinagar, you have Mumbai, you have Raipur. So there are quite a number of NLUs where female students have horizontal intake available, and definitely they are eligible for the respective category seats as well. Barring the top two NLUs, National Law School of India University, Bangalore, and Nalsar, Hyderabad, most of the other NLUs do have NRI sponsored seats as well. Now, the question is also there in the application form about the NRI sponsor seats. So you have to be very, very careful. If you want to exercise this option, you have to make that choice in the application form itself. There are certain NLUs where you also have supernumerary seats for Jammu and Kashmir residents or domicile of Jammu and Kashmir or migrants from Jammu and Kashmir. So there are specific seats kept for them in some of the NLUs. So please understand that each of the NLUs have different reservation policies. Each of the NLUs have quotas available, sometimes for the general category, most of the time for the respective other categories like SC, ST, or OBC category. So some of the NLUs also have kept EWS seats available on all India as well as state quota. So you must look at these numbers to understand your chances and what is there on offer as far as your particular category is concerned. So total 3,000 seats hai, but if you look at each of the 22 NLUs, there are specific seats earmarked for each of the categories on either on all India basis, state domicile basis. We also have horizontal reservation for person with disability category and women candidates. Horizontal means the seats would be carved out from the respective categories. Those percentage of seats would be carved out from each of the respective categories. NRI sponsored seats are available as well, for which CLAT is to be taken. You do not have an exemption. Only foreign nationals have an exemption. They need not write CLAT, but an NRI candidate or an NRI sponsored candidate, they have to appear for CLAT and they'll get separate ranks as well. So this is the seat matrix for CLAT 2023. Once you have understood this, let's go ahead and understand what it takes to fill the application form. But before that, as I said earlier, read the university's brochures carefully. The finer details would be available over there. Check whether you are fulfilling all the eligibility criteria, whether you are eligible for any particular category in your respective state or not. That needs to be understood. Before you start working on the application, you also need a scanned copy of photograph. That scanned copy of photograph, the photograph should be taken against a light background, a white background preferably. Photograph should be very, very clear so that it appears clearly on the admit card. You also need to have your scanned copy of signature ready. In case you are from any reserve category, SC, ST, OBC, you also need to have the copy of the certificates ready to be uploaded while making the application. And of course, you'll need your parents' bank details in case you have a bank account. Wonderful. Otherwise, definitely you need your parent debit card, credit card, UPI handles, or the internet banking details to make the payment when you are finally submitting the application form. So check all this are in place, and then you can go ahead and start working on the application form. Remember, the last date to apply is 13th November 2022. 13 नवंबर तक टाइम है, 3 महीने से ज्यादा समय है. कोई हड़बड़ी दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है, डोंट रश एट ऑल। किसी भी तरीके से जल्दबाजी दिखाने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। आराम आराम से चाहो तो 3-4 दिन में फॉर्म के ऊपर काम कर सकते हो। ओके, so let's begin how the application is to be filled. So you go to the consortium website, which is consortium of nlus.ac.in, and you'll see this tab on top right corner of the page, CLAT 2023. Click on this tab, CLAT 2023. The moment you click on this tab, you'll see a new page opening up, which gives you the option to register. The first step for CLAT 2023 application is to register for 2023 CLAT process. So click on this radio tab, which is register. Once you click on this radio tab, a pop-up will appear, which will ask you to provide your name, your complete name, your mobile number, your email ID, and you need to create and confirm your password. A very simple process. सिर्फ नाम देना है, मोबाइल नंबर देना है और अपना ईमेल आईडी देना है और अपना पासवर्ड क्रिएट करना है, जिसको याद भी रखना है. You must remember this password because this would be required for in future for even downloading your admit cards and future process of counseling as well. Once you have submitted these details, click on register and a pop-up will appear like this. Your account is successfully created. You will receive an OTP on your registered mobile number. तो आपने जो मोबाइल नंबर यहाँ सबमिट किया, whichever number you submitted of yours, you'll get an OTP on that mobile number. Fill the OTP number here. ये आपका मोबाइल नंबर ऑटोमेटिकली अपीयर करेगा यहाँ पे. Here you submit the OTP as received and click on the activate button. The moment you click on this activate button, it will open like this and the page will ask you to select the appropriate program. The CLAT is conducted both for undergraduate as well as postgraduate programs. Now, this session is about undergraduate, which means you are applying to the national law universities for the BA LLB, BB LLB programs, which means 5-year LLB after class 12. So you need to click on this checkbox, this radio button ko press karoge, and then you click on apply for CLAT 2023. Simply move on once you have done that, and now the actual form opens up wherein you have to provide all your details. The first page is about personal details, which begins with uploading your photograph and signature. So you need to first upload the scanned copy of your photograph and the scanned copy of your signature. आप ये दोनों यहाँ पे upload करोगे. Then you type your name as per your 10+2 certificate. Now the question is, I'm yet to appear for my class 12 board examination. I'll be appearing for the same in March or February 2023. What do I do in this case? So in this case, follow your class 10th certificate. So the best way is to write your name as per your class 10th certificate. Only I think the state students from the state of Maharashtra, they'll find it different because the 10th, the way the names are put up in the 10th certificate is different from what they put up in the class 12 certificate. In class 12 certificate for the state of Maharashtra, the Maharashtra board, the surname appears first. But this should not be a concern majorly. But we do understand, the consortium also understand that the students would be appearing for the pre-board when this year the exam is happening, so you don't have any provision for even getting your admit cards. So it's better to follow your class 10th certificate, how the name appears in class 10th certificate. आप बिल्कुल उसी तरीके से यहाँ पे अपना name fill करो. From the drop down, select the appropriate gender here. So male, female or transgender, that 3 options will come. जो भी option है आप यहाँ पे select करोगे. Again from the drop down, select the date of birth. आप correctly बिल्कुल ध्यान से select करना है, because एक बार जब final submission होगा, you won't be able to make any changes. You have to then type your father's name over here. It has to be typed over here, no salutations. Mother's name over here. And then you'll select the nationality from the drop down, Indian or others. These 2 options will appear. आपको for most of you, it is Indian, because I'm sure right now foreign nationals are not watching this video. But so you select Indian from the drop down. Now there are two very important questions over here. Do you want to apply for NRI reservation category? So only if you are an NRI, or you are an OCI, or you fall under the PIO category, person of Indian origin category, you should select yes over here. यहाँ पे आप yes नहीं select करोगे अगर आप NRI नहीं हो, या OCI नहीं हो, या PIO नहीं हो. Please understand this. So select no. If you are an NRI, then only select a yes. Then comes your question about the NRI sponsored category. Now, this is very important to be understood. A lot of confusion is always there about NRI sponsored category. See, please understand, NRI sponsored category is basically for those students who have an NRI relative who is willing to sponsor their education for 5 years. Even in this case, you have to appear for the CLAT examination. But what will happen? अगर आप NRI sponsored category में yes select करते हो, यहाँ पे अगर आप इस क्वेश्चन के अगेंस्ट आपका आंसर yes होता है, which means you have a relative who is willing to sponsor your education, first degree or second degree relative, then you must select yes. Now, there are few things which you need to understand. You will be given an all India rank. You appear for CLAT. You will have to necessarily appear for CLAT, even if you say yes over here. But then you'll get multiple ranks. First, you'll get an all India rank. If you belong to any particular social category, you'll also get that category rank along with NRI sponsored category rank. Now, to avail admissions against the NRI sponsored category, for whatever NLU is offering the NRI sponsored seat, you have to apply to them separately. The forms of those NLUs for NRI sponsored category admissions usually come around the CLAT results. So जब CLAT का result announce होगा, जो भी NLUs NRI sponsored category seats available कराते हैं, वो NLUs अपने पोर्टल पे एक अलग application process start करेंगे for such category of seats. If you have got the rank under the NRI sponsored category, you can apply to those national universities, wherein you'll have to submit certain documents, including the copy of the passport of that relative who is sponsoring your education for 5 years. Please understand, the fee under NRI sponsored category is generally up to 5 to 6 times of the regular fee. So that's the cost of getting admissions under this category of seats. But this is a good backup plan in case money is not an issue for you, in case you have a relative who is keen to sponsor, who is willing to sponsor your education for 5 years, who is willing to pay that amount, you can definitely select a yes. It's a wonderful backup option. So please understand, this is different from NRI. In NRI seats, the candidate himself or herself is an NRI, whereas under NRI sponsored category, you are not an NRI, but your relative is an NRI who is willing to sponsor your education. अगर आपने yes नहीं select किया अभी, later on you cannot claim admissions under this category, even if you have scored very well in your CLAT paper and you could have got a good rank under NRI sponsored category. तो इस बात का ध्यान रखना, अगर एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म में यस नहीं शो करते हो तो बाद में इसका बेनिफिट नहीं उठा सकते हो. Then you have to select your all India category. From the drop down, you will select whether you belong to general, SC, ST, OBC, as the case may be. तो यहाँ पे आपको अपना ऑल इंडिया कैटेगरी सेलेक्ट करना होगा, आप जिस कैटेगरी से बिलोंग करते हो. The moment you select general category, there'll be a question popping up here which will ask whether you belong to EWS. जैसे ही आप जनरल कैटेगरी सेलेक्ट करोगे यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा, सेलेक्ट इफ द कैंडिडेट इज फ्रॉम ईडब्ल्यूएस कैटेगरी. यस और नो आपको सेलेक्ट करना होगा, एज द केस मे बी. अगर आप कोई और कैटेगरी सेलेक्ट करते हो तो फिर आपको वो क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे whether you are from PWD category, you are from SC, ST, or OBC category, or below poverty line category, if your answer is yes to any of this question, you will be required to upload the relevant certificate in the application form itself. तो आपको PDF फॉर्मेट में अपना सर्टिफिकेट अपलोड करना होगा ड्यूरिंग द एप्लीकेशन इटसेल्फ. you you have to submit in case you fall under any of these categories. आपको अभी के अभी एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म फिल करते समय ही अपना सर्टिफिकेट अपलोड करना होगा in the PDF format. This is about your personal information. Best practice is to save draft. Click on save draft. अगर आप continue करते हो, well and good. If you don't want to continue right now, you can log out. You can come back at a later stage and start filling from here onwards. आपको ये बाकी details जो आपने already fill किए हैं, the ones which you have already filled, you need not fill them again. They are already captured over there. Next comes your communication details. Very simple. You have to type your correspondence address, basically your address of residence. आप जहां भी रहते हो, आप वहां का address type करोगे. From the drop down, you will select the state. You will type the name of the district. You will type the name, number for the pin code. जो 6 digit pin code है आपका, वो आप यहाँ पे type करोगे. Same process for the permanent address. So if your address, correspondence address and permanent address are same, you just copy paste. Otherwise, type your permanent address. Permanent address could be different for most of the students. Select the state of permanent residence, type the name of the district, the pin code, and provide your alternate contact number. The mobile number is already available. The main mobile number which you gave during the registration process, that will come pre-filled over here. You have to mandatorily provide your alternate contact number. So you may give your number in case you used your parents' number as the primary number, or vice versa. So you can give the number, but alternate number is mandatory. Again, as per the best practices, save draft and move on for the academic details. Qualifying exam details means your class 12 academic details, not class 10th. Class 12th is your qualifying exam. Your passing of class 12th makes you eligible for the CLAT examination. So the first thing you have to do is, from the drop down, you'll have to select 10 plus 2, arts, commerce, humanities, others, or sciences. Whichever stream you were part of, select it appropriately. Then type the name of the board or the university. In some cases, it could be university where you have junior colleges concept, or mostly it is board. So you may go ahead, type in the full form of the board, like Central Board of Secondary Education, or you even write CBSE, doesn't matter much. Then what you have to do is, you have to select from the drop down whether you are appearing for the class 12 board examination or you have already passed. Now, so for most of the students who will be appearing for the board examination in February or March 2023, you must select appearing or appeared. The first option, आप ये select करोगे. The instruction is already given. If you are appearing for your LLP exam in 2023, which means the entrance for CLAT 2023, enter as appearing or appeared. Month of passing is to be selected as June. So आप यहाँ पे drop down से June select करोगे, and passing year in the drop down is to be selected as 2023. This is not mandatory. You do not have to fill percentage. But just in case you have passed your class 12 in 2022 or earlier, you will select passed. You'll select the month as per the certificate, the year, and you'll have to type the percentage which you secured in class 12. So remember, जो 2023 के स्टूडेंट हैं, जब जैसी आप सेलेक्ट करोगे appearing, appeared, आपको सिर्फ month select करना है. The instruction is already given below. You have to select June, and the passing year as 2023, percentage column will go blank. Again, save draft and move on to give your exam center preferences. you'll have to give three preferences. The city in which you want to appear for CLAT 2023. आप किस शहर में एग्जाम देना चाहते हो, ऑफलाइन एग्जाम किस शहर में जाकर देना चाहते हो. The list of the cities where exam centers will be created are given in the drop down. Select the one where you reside if that is available, otherwise the nearest one. Similarly, you have to give three choices just in case for any reason they are not able to allocate your first choice, they will try to allocate your second or the third choice. So every candidate have to give three different preferences. The best way is to give the nearest one or the same city where you reside as the first choice, then the next nearest as second, the next nearest as third one. So this is preferences is about test city preference. And finally, it is about the reservation for each of the national or universities. You can see this image, which is the basically the brochure for that particular university. So for against NLS Bangalore, you have the brochure available for NLS Bangalore. Against Hyderabad, you have that for Nalsar Hyderabad. You must read through these documents. If you belong to that particular state, whether there is reservation available. If yes, what is the criteria of reservation? For every national law university, there is a question: are you a resident of that state? So for NLS Bangalore, are you a Karnataka student? If you select yes, you must ensure that you fulfill the criteria of domicile. Same is for Telangana in case of Nalsa. Then, in case you are a JNK resident for Bhopal, you can also check on this box. If you are a resident of Madhya Pradesh, you can select yes or no. So, for every national law university, because they are providing reservation, except for Jodhpur, you can see it has already typed my category. This already pre-filled, which is general. So जोधपुर में कोई डोमिसाइल कोटा नहीं है. There is no state quota in a national law university जोधपुर. इस वजह से ऐसा है. But for every other national university, you'll have this question: are you a domicile of this state? So you'll have to select yes or no accordingly. For every NLU, you have to do this exercise because unlike previous years, they have not asked the domicile on the personal details page. This time you have to do it for every 22. In some case, you might be able to because of that flexibility in domicile. Looking at Jharkhand, for example, if in case you have studied from the state of Jharkhand, you have given your class 10th and 12th from there, you are eligible for that as well. So it's not just by birth over there. So you might be able to fulfill criteria for two. So select appropriately. Mostly domicile is for one state, but in some cases, because of this flexibility or not clarity about the rules, you may in some cases be eligible for two of these states as well. So once you have checked for all the 22 NLUs, then you will come to the final declaration part, wherein you have to click on this checkbox wherein you agree to the fact that whatever information you have published in the application form and the documents, if any, if you have uploaded, they are true to the best of your knowledge and you have concealed nothing. So you are declaring this. If found untrue, later your candidature can be definitely cancelled. And then you can give your consent whether you want to share your details with any third party. The third party here are basically the private law schools which will be accepting CLAT scores. So in case you give your consent for your details to be shared with the private law schools, these private law schools will get your CLAT scores. And if your cutoffs, which they decide, if you have scored more than that, they will definitely call you for admissions. So it's better to give that consent, but you have a choice. You may or you may not give that consent. Finally, your application process is complete. Now you can go ahead and submit the form. Here, the submission does not mean that it's final submission. The moment you click on submit form, after you have checked on this box and given your consent or denied your consent, it will take you back to the first page wherein your application number will appear, your name will appear, your date of birth, the program which you have applied should have undergraduate mention, and the status shown will be submitted but payment pending. Now you have to also verify your email address. You can edit the application form any number of times before you have made the final payment, or you can completely delete the application form and restart working on the application form. So in case you believe that I probably need to rework on the application form, you may delete it completely, पूरी तरीके से delete कर सकते हो, or you can do necessary edits. All this is possible before you have done the payment. Once you have selected on this tab and made the payment, then your process is complete. Your application form will be submitted finally, and then you could not make any changes. आप कोई changes उसके बाद नहीं कर पाओगे एक बार जब आपने payment कर दिया. Please understand, consortium has clearly mentioned on the instructions page that in case a candidate makes multiple application, the last application will be considered valid and no refund will be given for the previous applications. I'm sure you understand the cost of the application is 4,000 rupees. So you are going to be definitely very, very careful about this. So that was all about the application form, how you fill the CLAT 2023 application. It's not complicated. It's simple, but it does need your time and attention. You have to be really, really careful about that. You make any mistake tomorrow, it might come as a problem at the time of admission. And that is the reason I said, take your own sweet time to fill the application form. There is no need to hurry. There is no rush required. More than 3 months available. Take your time. If you want, revisit this video, watch this video again, understand the process step by step, and then you go ahead and submit the application form. Is Hyderabad, Karnataka reserve is there in CLAT? Hyderabad, Karnataka, I'm sure you are asking about NLS Bangalore and Nalsar Hyderabad. Yes, NLS Bangalore has 25% seats reserved for students belonging to the state of Karnataka. You need to fulfill the criteria. 4 years of domicile required. Same is there for Hyderabad. They have reservation for the students belonging to the state of Telangana. Women category basically means most of the national universities have kept certain seats reserved specifically for female candidates. This comes under horizontal reservation. This comes under horizontal reservation basically, wherein from every category they have carved out certain percentage of seats. For example, if the NLU mentions 30% horizontal reservation, it means 30% from general category, 30% from SC category, 30% from ST category will be available only to the women candidates. Overall, it becomes 30% only. But horizontal means from every social category, that percentage of seats will be reserved specifically for women, while they are eligible for the remaining 70% as well. Is it necessary to have EWS or domicile certificate when I fill the form? EWS certificate is not necessary at this point of time, but in case you belong to any of these social categories like SC, ST, or OBC, or if anybody is a person with disability category candidate or a BPL, below poverty line candidate, they have to upload the certificate while making the application itself, which means you need it right now. EWS, why it is not required at this point of time? Because EWS certificate is issued every year. In fact, same is true for OBC, but for EWS, it is mandatory. It should be issued after 1st March. That is the reason they have not asked for it. But if you clear the CLAT results, you are being admitted to any of the NLUs. Next year, you'll have to get one made if eligible. So please be careful while selecting EWS. Next year, your parents' income might go above that. So whether you'll be able to fulfill the criteria or not, that you have to be really, really careful. Does the name written have to be in all capital letters? That's a good practice. Always keep the caps button on and fill the application form. That's always a good practice. For women category, will it be directly identified through application? Yes. The moment you select the gender as female, that application picks it up directly from there. EWS is economically weaker sections. As per government policy, most of the NLUs do have EWS category seats available. They are basically carved out of the general category. 10% of the general category seats belong to EWS category. What if you are living outside the country? It depends from where you have completed your class 12. While currently, if you are living outside the country, I can assume that you are also studying outside the country, which means you are to be considered as an NRI candidate. OBC, NCL, then with certificate. See, please understand, when we talk about OBC, it is about OBC, NCL only. Only the non-creamy layer OBC candidates get the reservation benefit. Not everyone gets the benefit of OBC reservation. Only the people who belong to NCL, non-creamy layer. So you'll have to have your NCL OBC certificate ready to be submitted. Arts and humanities same, some minor differences in terms of literature. Literature है तो arts pick करना, literature पे ज़्यादा focus था, otherwise humanities, but कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Don't worry about that. Why not NLU Jodhpur have domicile reservation? It's a state call. Each of the national law universities are state universities. They are governed by the rules of the state assembly. So none of them are central universities. Please don't confuse by the name national attached to them. NLS Bangalore is governed by Karnataka State Assembly. NALSA is ruled by Telangana government. NLU Delhi is ruled by Delhi government. So they are the ones who are taking the final call. So NLU Jodhpur prefers, the state government of Rajasthan prefers not to give any reservation to their state students. It's their personal call. Sir, जो 11 में है वो नहीं दे सकते हैं क्या? I'm sure you do understand. You don't want to be on the wrong side of law. CLAT application can only be made by students who are currently in class 12, who will be appearing for their board examination next year, February, March. I'm sure you are not going to appear for your class 12 board exams, which means in case you do appear, you'll be fudging your information in the application form, which I definitely don't recommend. Daughter is studying abroad and residing with me in Doha. Should we select both NRI reservation and NRI sponsored column? As I will be a sponsor, you can do that, definitely. Are we required to choose any one NLU? No, you are not required to choose any of the NLUs. What they'll ask you is whether you have the domicile of that state. In case you have the domicile of that one state, you select yes. Rest will automatically, you'll have to select no. So you either yes or no, as the case may be. For example, a Delhi student making CLAT application will select no for all the 22 NLUs because NLU Delhi is not part of CLAT, and none of the other NLUs will give benefit of domicile to Delhi student. So that's how it is. I'm looking at the application online, but in the reservation section, I do not see the options you show with respect to university and brochure. If your internet is quite slow, it will take time to load. Actually, that page loads, takes a couple of seconds. That's a couple of seconds slow. Give it time. But that you'll reach only once you have filled the other details. Parents' domiciles can be used. Parent domicile नहीं, candidate आप हो ना, आपको exam लिखना है, आपको admission लेना है. Please understand this. What is the average mark an NRI student should score for admission in any of the NLUs? There is no definite trend for that, but please do understand the competition in this category now has increased manyfold, so it is no longer easier. The cutoff is quite higher in this category. In fact, you'll see a lot of students who are in the top 10 ranks, they even are using this category. When is the deadline? 13th of November. In domicile, if you choose Karnataka student, then we don't need to touch. I'm sure you'll be a domicile of only one state. You can't be a domicile of multiple state except for that. So most likely when you are choosing Karnataka, the possibility is higher that you cannot be a domicile of other state. This could be largely a confusion between Bihar and Jharkhand. So Jharkhand has stated that in case your parents are part of the central government or state government services over there. So that is why the confusion is there, but not over here. What is meant by PWD? PW means person with disabilities, people with disabilities actually, and EWS is economically weaker section. Maharashtra domicile certificate applicable for MNLU? Yes, for MNLU it will be applicable. No, domicile will, sir, domicile means passing of 12th or place of residence. Generally, it is place of residence, not passing of 12th, especially when you are talking about CLAT. So it's not similar to IP University of Delhi. The definition is quite different. And each of the university, each of the state has different criteria in terms of numbers of years of residence. So please do check about that, whether you fulfill the criteria of your state or not. My registration shows May as the prescribed passing year. Registration, I believe you're talking about your certificate. So in case you have already passed and your result was declared in the month of May, select May. The June was given for this year candidates who will be appearing for the board examinations in February, March. They need to select June and year 2023. Domicile certificates are not required at this point of time. Domicile certificates would be required at the time of admissions, once the NLUs have been allotted, and once you have to make the final admissions, you have to take the final admissions. That time you will have to. Remember, if you're not able to produce that, your admission automatically gets cancelled. You would not be considered for any other category as well. NRI sponsored category is also eligible for open category. Yes, you will be considered for both the categories. So if a student selects yes against that question, against the NRI sponsored question, that student will get 2 or 3 different categories of rank. First will be all India category rank, all India general rank. The second will be in case you belong to any specific social category, like you also belong to the scheduled caste. Then in that case, you'll get all India scheduled caste category rank. For state domicile, you may also get your state rank, and the fourth one will be the final one, which will be the NRI sponsored. Please understand, consortium will allocate you seats based on the all India or the category ranks. But in case you want to avail of an opportunity through NRI sponsored, you'll have to apply separately to those NLUs which are offering the seats, the applications of which will come when the results come out for the CLAT 2023. NLU Delhi does not have domicile seats available. They have their own exam, AILT, and they do not have any seats reserved for Delhi students. Apply for which program? This session was about UG undergraduate, which means you are currently in class 12 or you have just passed class 12 this year, and you want to take admissions to the 5-year undergraduate law program at the National Law Universities. Sports quota only available for boys at Gujarat National Law Universities. For that, while you'll give the examination, it's based on the level of the performance. So international, national, that's how it is. For that, separate form again will come out by GNLU during the results, expression of interest form. But you first need to appear for CLAT and give your best performance. Since my spouse passed away, in the father column, do we have to put late? You can put that. That's not a problem. Staying in Maharashtra, do we need Maharashtra domicile certificate? Only in case you belong to those social category for which reservations are available. General category reservations are not available in MNLU. You will be treated as an all India candidate for Maharashtra National Law University. So in case you are a general category candidate, for other categories, you definitely need the certificate during the time of admission. No, domicile has nothing to do with your clearing your class 12. उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है. It based on the residence, and then even that will vary, the number of years dependent, that will vary from state to state. Candidate from Maharashtra have to fill the name, surname. See, that is the problem I told about. So best way is to fill the name right now as per, because you do not have any document as far as class 12th is concerned unless you have passed out and you are retaking CLAT again. If you are appearing for the first time for CLAT 2023, you'll be appearing for the first time in CLAT examination, then best at this point of time would be follow is what is mentioned on your class 10 certificate. No cultural quotas are available in national law universities. No management quotas are available in the national law universities. My suggestion would be, please read the brochures. Don't look out for shortcuts. Okay. When will be the results declared tentatively? Hopefully around January end, the January mid or January end. You'll get enough time this time for admissions. Definition of relatives, immediate ones. First degree or second degree relatives will be only considered for NRI sponsor. So my suggestion to each one of you is to better read through the brochures. In case you want to revisit at the start, I have shown you the seat matrix. That would really help you out. Come back, look at the video once again, spend some time on the seat matrix screen. You'll understand where, what category and how much seats are available. So this will really help you out. But my suggestion would be, please spend a couple of minutes on the brochures. They will have all the information. They'll give you all the clarity. So with that, thank you so much. We'll continue doing a lot of sessions, in fact. So we have now planned sessions specifically for CLAT 2023 every alternate day. So on 10th, same platform, this platform, come back at 6 p.m. where Jijo Srinivasan and Gautam Puri sir will be live here talking about the 4-month strategy for CLAT 2023. Similarly, we'll have session on 12th, 14th, 16th, 18th, and 20th, where we'll cover each of these subjects separately. What should be your strategy for next 4 months to crack CLAT 2023 with ease? So please remember the dates: 10th, 12th, 14th, 16th, 18th, and 20th, 6 p.m. this channel itself. If you have not subscribed, subscribe it right now and click on the bell icon to receive updates about those sessions. Thank you so much. And again, take your own sweet time to fill the application form.